I'm going to be coming at you. The winner of this then playing Sync Esports, who's waiting comfortably in the grand finals. They will have a 1-0 series in a ultimately a best of 5, of course. But before all that, we got a best of 3 to get through, and what a best of 3 we got coming at you. Willowkeeper versus Nullstone Gaming, two teams. You know, Willowkeeper especially, they've had some good history. Last cycle, a disappointing finish. This cycle, here they are in the losers bracket final, sure, but to be frank, I mean, their run wasn't necessarily the toughest grind ever. They did get knocked down by Sync Esports yesterday pretty handily, so looking forward to seeing how they match up against a very strong Nullstone Gaming team, especially as of late. Can't wait to get things started. With that said, as always, joined by the one and only Mini Maggot here. How's it going?
Oh man, I'm doing good, and I'm so looking forward to this, man. Championship Sunday always gets me so pumped, man. I'm so hyped for this. Not only this series, obviously the grand finals later today as well, man. And I mean, I can't go into any more. The game's already started. Let's just get going, Brokey.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, well, there's one thing to obviously note right off the bat, which I'm sure people are already noticing, and you know, I was giving you guys some updates there as far as why we're a little bit delayed. One of the players here, Cholo Samian, apparently MIA, so not able to get a hold of him. They're not exactly sure what the issue is. With that said, they are using a ringer over here on Nullstone Gaming by the name of 1200 Carry. I personally have never seen this guy. I don't know any information on him. I don't know if you got any insight.
I have no idea, man. I have no idea. But as long as they got Beaver Banger, man, that's fine.
That's true. As long as they got Beaver Banger, good to go. Now, it's worth noting, Cholo Samian, usually they're mid player as far as that's concerned. So I'm intrigued to see if 1200 Carry ends up playing that mid role. Or, yeah, the carry, right? You know, his name kind of speaks for that. No, so yeah, that's obviously a minor setback, sure. I mean, even if it's one of the best players on the scene, still, when you have a new player you're kind of bringing in, you can't necessarily 100% guarantee it's going to absolutely work out. So we'll see how it works out, though, for Nullstone Gaming here. But at the very least, still expecting a very good matchup. And again, I really have been loving a lot of Nullstone Gaming lately. Obviously, they've had some impressive results throughout this cycle here. So far, and most notably defeating Bad Monkey Gaming, knocking them out of Diamond for the cycle at least, and having them finish 5th, 6th. And of course, they then defeated Rexars to ultimately get to this point. Hey, they even took a game off of Sync Esports, so both of these teams have taken games off of Sync Esports in that sense too. So I don't know. I'm sure you're on boat with me saying that this should overall be a very, very even and good series here.
Definitely. I mean, Nullstone Gaming have really impressed me, as like you said, Breaky. I mean, they really have upped their game in terms of sort of strategy and in terms of draft. Like, they really want to come big, and clearly coming into the loser bracket final and Championship Sunday, I mean, they've definitely worked up to get to this point. Draft is underway, Breaky, so I'll let you do your thing.
Well, let's take a look and see what's actually happening. Very interesting pickup right there with noting. But before we get into that, you got Ophelia, Cthulhu Font, Oogie, and Swiftplay coming out. Yes, the Oogie band. Beaver Banger 5-0 with that hero. You do not want to let him get Oogie as of late. So they do ban them initially, not too surprising in that sense. Magnus Kraken, Galatius, Empath, Dr. Repulsor, Dark Lady, it looks like were the pickups. Then you got the following bands: Keeper, Rift, Tempest, Bubbles, Parasite, Behemoth, and then, as we see right there, Electrician coming out here. So that is now, you know, Electrician's been we've seen him several times as of recently. Most notably, it was of course in the Silhouette matchup. It just makes a lot of sense countering the Silhouette. Now, Nullstone has run Electrician themselves. Even we talked about the Oogie strategy that they actually ran with an Electrician against BMG's Mageman, of course, which he ended up working out in Nullstone's favor quite heavily. So. I'm looking at the Electrician pickup here, and I'm kind of wondering, is there I mean, it does purge off Dark Blades. I wonder if that's a reason alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously like a sort of good counter to Darkblade in that respect, but honestly, I think it's because of the static grip. Like, 4.75 seconds of lockdown, particularly on a hard carry with, like, Dark Lady. I mean, when it gets in sort of the later stages in the game, I mean, there's nothing that Dark Lady can obviously do outside of the Shrunken Head if Electrician picks up a Shrunken Head of his own, because obviously Kraken maybe to stop the static grip, but outside of that, Dark Lady will be in a sort of a kind of a fragile position if he does get static grip. I mean, for 4.75 seconds, that's easily enough time to burst Dark Lady down. And just, I mean, think about that, 4.75 seconds, that's one of the longest stuns. Obviously, it is channeling, but still, it's like a lot of lockdown on Dark Lady. We saw in the last series, like, whenever Dark Lady was getting focused, and whenever she was getting locked down when she didn't have her Shrunken Head, she was getting in a lot of problems. So perhaps this could be the reason why Tree are picking them up here.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that works out for them, and and perhaps the logic as the game picks up. We definitely see that from time to time. But yeah, the purging of the dark blades alone seems like it is powerful, and the CC could come into play as well. So Flux going to be happening here. Now, Flux not your everyday hero either, but one of these niche heroes. If you got wombo combo potential, he really, well, pulls it in together, as that's what his ultimate does. So Magnus right there, going to be able to take advantage of that, I'm sure. I mean, it's not the most heavy wombo combo team by any means, but at the same time, it's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, normally Tree, they pick up Flux not really for the wombo combo, but for its sort of solo laning potential. Normally they'd like to put him in the solo mid role. He can do well 1v2 or can do quite well 1v1 as well. So, and also it's kind of somewhat of a semi-counter to sort of Nullstone got. Obviously they've got sort of Kinesis and Empath and Kraken, not doing a lot of sustained damage outside of Dark Lady. And obviously Nullstone have picked up the Lord South Forest now, which is most likely going to be jungle. But I mean, picking up Electrician and Flux, having that sort of tanky presence can be quite a pain for Dark Lady to sort of take them out in terms of the late game, whilst always focus on Doctor Repulsor as well. So yeah, a decent draft coming out from Tree. Obviously, we see Nelson going to finish off with Lord South Forest as well, most likely going to be in the jungle. I mean, it's probably not one of the bestest of games for Lord South Forest. I mean, normally we see him picked up against sort of healing carries like Malakun, for example, or even Oogie. Not really in the case of this game, Breaky.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I love seeing a pickup like this because, if people would watch this game, like say they missed the last weekend and they're coming from watching Cycle 4, they're just watch Cycle 5 now, they'd be like, wait, how come that casters aren't overreacting here? We see a Lord South Forest. We saw a ban on Oogie. I mean, what's going on here? Well, I mean, we have seen Lord South Forest played by Nullstone now several times, most notably in the jungle, and exactly we're going to see that here. I mean, in fact, we had what you got on yesterday. He kind of explained that a little bit. It's something that he's been trying out in the Team M scene. He likes the idea of doing different things, really catching the other team off guard, keeping them guessing as far as what's going on, what the ultimate impact's going to be. He likes to do this. It works out very well. He knows what he's doing, and he builds more of a utility as well usually, and I definitely expected to see that here. So it's going to be interesting to see how it ultimately plays out here for them, of course. But yeah, the Lord South Forest, it's not off the wall by any means, at least for Nullstone. It is something they have done before. So now I do want to note as well, something else I'm really picking up on here is, so we mentioned 1200 carry, the ringer for the team. He's actually playing Empath here. He's playing the main support role. So that means Drent's actually, sure enough, is going to be playing Kraken, actually. So, a little bit of a mix-up there.
No, yeah, and it's definitely something to be noted. I mean, obviously, Trent's a great player, can play any kind of role, but particularly in the competitive scene, like playing sort of TMN mid or TMM sort of suicide, for example, is completely different compared to sort of playing it in a competitive match. Obviously, you've got, the pressures on. Obviously, there's a lot of money at the line breaky, as we stated before, and yeah, I mean, you could easily see maybe Trent's buckle under the pressure, for example, because he's not used to playing, obviously, like a core hero in a competitive match. And yeah, I'm a little bit surprised perhaps the Ringer 1200 carry only plays for support, which is quite kind of ironic, but maybe that's the only role he can really play, so Trent has to sort of rotate onto the middle lane. Yeah.
Now, I really want to stress the money you go back to as well, because, it's really hitting me more and more that we've had some great prize pools, some of the bigger prize pools we've ever had in any tournament, and it's happening from cycle to cycle, really average of in that $30,000 to $31,000 range. This one, $29,000. Of course, but in that range, basically. And I was pointing out, from this so winning this series guarantees you at least $2,000 more, upwards of what could possibly be $4,500 more. So this best of the three here, you're playing for at least $2,000. That's a lot of freaking money. I know everyone in chat is millionaires, and
true,
they don't care about that. They think it's little money, but
it's okay.
It's a lot of money, man, for playing just in this sense one best of three here right now.
Yep.
So that's definitely some pressure put on the players here.
Definitely. I mean, it's fine playing obviously for a bit of fun, playing for a bit of experience, or even playing for like MMR, but playing for $2,000 breaky, like, it's just a whole nother sort of pressure. I don't know how each team sort of goes about it, but still, like, I mean, if you lose, that's kind of a big deal, honestly, and obviously if you win, it's a big deal at the same time. So I definitely think pressure and maybe buckling under pressure could definitely be an impact into this game, breaky, without a doubt.
All right. Well, coming out of the pause here, and here we go as far as the laning phase initially now. Worth noting, too, again, the matchup of these teams. I was actually curious about that. I noticed that, so Tree's 2-0 against also, so they've only played the one time. Do we know what cycle that was by chance? Because something tells me that was even earlier on in the season, and obviously, things have changed. Nullstone especially has really developed as a team, so I wouldn't take too much into that. But, again, I really feel like these two teams are kind of the evenly matched teams almost. as even as you can get right now on the competitive scene even. So you see right here, Electrician actually doing a creep pull right there, and a little bit of harassment coming out, but...
Yeah, this is actually quite impactful because if you see, Tree have actually blocked out all 3 of these hard camps, or all 3 of these medium camps. What normally you'd see is actually Dark Lady rotate onto the hard lane and draw this creep wave and sort of jungle the hard camp with this camp here, but instead he's forced to push it behind his tower, so he's sort of missing out on a little bit of golden experience. Obviously the lane back over here behind the tier 1 tower for Legion is also going to get denied, so actually this play from Box is quite impactful, and a first lane of sort of creep wave already sort of denied coming out from Tree, so going to reduce Dark Lady's farm just a little bit.
Yeah, well played right there. So you look at this middle lane matchup, Flux versus Kraken. Again, Drent's the one playing Kraken, usually the support player for the team, but because of the ringer situation, playing the middle hero here and keep an eye on his farm and his status, and most certainly, I mean, Flux, a very powerful laner himself, of course. You know, not the longest range, but is technically a range hero, and of course with the skill set that allows him to provide a lot of harassment and guarantee last hits for himself. So, and you know, you always see this kind of build on a Flux too. I mean, the double Crushing Claw as well as double Minor Totem. He's already at 830 life now at level 3. That is just ridiculous when you compare it to anyone else in the game at this point. So yeah, don't expect to set up ganks on him successfully, at least earlier on in the game is what that comes down to. So top lane, again, Electrician, no, okay, well he's just backing up Empath even. He can do that.
I mean, this creep pull initially done by Boxy is such a big deal because he instantly got level 2, and also it boxed out Empath to get any kind of experience because he didn't want to take away from Dark Lady. Now Electrician's level 3, like Empath simply can't box out this this Electrician here, and neither can she actually pull the lane because it's been blocked. She tried to rev ward it, but she actually missed. So this top lane isn't actually going too well for Nullstone Gaming, and seeing as Lord Southforest's camps have been blocked, every single one of these Ward of Revelations has missed a Ward of Sight placed from a tree to block out the jungle. If you see the easy camp has been missed with this rev ward, and so has the medium camp with this rev ward over here. So yeah, not the greatest honestly impact coming out from Nullstone, and it is hurting the farm in the top lane. Dark Lady only 220 GPM compared to Boxy 230. So even though he's in the long lane against 2 heroes, he's got the same farm as Dark Lady. So clearly having a big impact in the early game. Yeah,
and this is no doubt one of the downsides of a Lord Southforest. He's down there with like a Keeper of the Forest or a War Beast, really. He's not the most impactful ganking jungle hero, especially with the way he built it. He doesn't even, well, he's going to start leveling up his nuke here. I believe he does eventually max out that nuke, but I mean, hell, you could even argue that his W is more powerful for setting up ganks with that move speed that it gives and the added damage and the constant low cooldown of it. So, anyways, point being, you know, he's not going to be the aggressive ganker like a Parasite, like a Legionnaire would, even like a Tempest or Ophelia, of course. So, yeah, expect Electrician to continue to have good times where I'm getting at, and even more to the reason, yeah, that initial pull really setting Boxy up to do fantastic here, and Empath's still level 1, man. That's, yeah, they really need to address that some way, somehow, but he's started getting like a couple levels here, or else she's just going to be absolute food for anyone.
I mean, she needed to actually sort of unblock this pull camp to really get her levels, but she just hasn't been able to do that. And at the same time, she leveled up the illusionary, the wall, and that's mainly just to sort of stop or impact the Electrician, actually. But he's going in on Empath. He might even get a kill here, Breaking.
Yeah, this is a kill. I mean, Dark Lady can't do much. Okay, I guess she can. Never mind. Enough right there. And actually, Boxy could be turned. All of a sudden, the wall doesn't come out, though. Okay, it is on cooldown. That makes sense. But, oh, man, Boxy almost getting turned on. Yeah, that Tainted Soul right there. Tainted Soul was just nearly enough to set up the turnaround. But Flux is coming in, sure enough, with the Invis right here. And actually,
you're dead.
Trying to set something up. Is Lord Southforest in trouble? He's definitely in trouble. Now okay, that was their rebel.
Oh, DD.
There we go. That's so brutal, man.
Yeah, DD and Invis. Oh, my God.
I mean, not much he could have done there. He just, I mean, obviously he knew he was missing, but you can't expect him to, like, hug a tower by any means either, I guess, so. Unfortunate timing, but good, well played by Cracker right there, no doubt, playing the Flux. Sets up the Bloodlust here, so excellent start as he hits level 6 in the process as well. Look what the Legion team's doing, by the way. You got Magmas farming with Glacius here in their own jungle, so you know we see this all the time, obviously. We talked about it even yesterday.
Oh my God.
What's that?
Oh, he nearly died there.
Oh.
Yeah, Glacius has the Ice Imprison onto the creep. Magmas is like 10 HP, he would have died if he got hit by the Vulture Lord, but it's going to be fine.
He does live. There you go. So, but yeah, obviously getting some priority farm on Root of Z there, trying to get in that PK as soon as possible. That's what they do. Bottom lane, Doctor is in trouble. Kinesis, he's chasing. If he can get that nuke off, he can't though. Doctor just enough hidden right there, and he actually is fine. So, Fuzzy Sloth I mean, I'm looking at the GPM charts especially, and right now, not a whole lot going on here. Hell, even Dark Lady, what was really set up to be a lane for her to have good farm, she's only 220 gold per minute here.
Yeah, I mean, Electrician's just dominated this lane, honestly, and that initially came from, you know, taking the first creep wave. Like, it reduced Dark Lady and Empath farm, and then obviously the pull on, or sorry, the block onto the neutral camp really is giving no levels to Empath, and now Box is diving the tier 1 tower, taking the creep wave again, bottom lane, no Kinesis.
Yeah, he's going to get pulled in, and that'll be a kill. Obviously, Glacius Magnus assisting, and when there's 3 against the 1, Kinesis is not an escape hero. So, understandably, he gets taken out right there. Good movement coming out from Willowkeeper, and taking advantage of the immobile Kinesis right there. Well played. You see the rune control also continuing to come out. Flux actually not necessarily a powerful as a rune top. I'm not sure we got the 6-minute rune, actually, but... And, it looks like Illusion's on Kraken. But anyways, yeah, Willowkeeper is off to a fantastic start here, so...
I mean, just
yep.
Box has got too much in this top lane, though. He's 280 GPM compared to 240 GPM Dark Lady. They've got only a level 2 empath. Like, she's not able to box him out because she'll die. And Dark Lady can't really 1v1 Electrician either because obviously it's melee versus melee matchup, and both Electrician and Dark Lady are melee. Middle lane Kraken, though, going to be falling. Like, the reason why this is happening, though, is that, you know, top lane, no, I don't say Dark Lady, Dark Lady should be fine, but, like, you see, all the support has to be sort of, for Nullstone here, has to be to help Dark Lady because, you know, Electrician's been such a problem. And that obviously leaves Tree supports to, you know, rotate bottom, rotate mid, and get the 2 early kills. Like, Nullstone supports are just so focused on helping Dark Lady because, you know, Electrician had such a good time in lane, and as a result, the early momentum is picked up here for Tree.
3,000 gold lead, 2,800 experience lead. Not a lead you're hoping for, and it's just going to get worse even as actually Fuzzy Sloth gets taken out down there. I got to say, it just almost seems sluggish here on Nullstone Gaming side. Now, as I say that, Electrician doing some more diving. I mean, he's in some trouble now, you would think, but it is Electrician after all with some decent start here. They need to be careful themselves not to get turned on. Yeah, especially Dark Lady. She's dropping low, so that's the thing with Electrician. They can't really chase him. It's a level 4 electric shield right now. That's doing a lot of damage and helping to keep him alive. As Lords of Force is going to give it a go. He puts the Undying on, but now Lords of Force in some trouble, actually. Purge comes out. That dot damage adding up, and Lords of Force is going to fall. And now all of a sudden, Dark Lady's in trouble as well. No, they get the code Electrician. So it will be a 1-for-1 exchange, but Boxy doing Boxy things once again.
Yeah, I mean, just having, like, 3 players just try and shut you down is just too much of an impact in the game, honestly. I think the kill on the Lord South Royce, it was okay in the situation he was in, but as usual, Boxy having a good start and then just overextended as usual and costing himself a death. Not the biggest of deals because he's still, you know, very, very impactful here in the game, and he did obviously kill Lord Salforus. He's only 200 GPM now. Obviously died earlier as well, so he's had a slow start. So is Dark Lady in the top lane, and when you're on the back foot against like a very aggressive team as Tree are, it's obviously not the best thing. Middle lane.
Kraken, he's trying to get away back, but he's going to stun it though, pull on top of Flux as well. Beautiful combo. What a turnaround though, double damage rune. Making the big plays, he'll also live. Unbelievable play by Trent. That's a double damage rune splash attack for you. Magnus just melted as a result. And Trent's actually going to go back to base to live. Maybe that's what Nullstone needs, man, to build up some momentum here. And get back in it early.
One thing's for sure though is I think Lord Sourfurish should stop farming though. Like he's already had like a bad time in terms of being set back in terms of his farming rotations. Like he needs to get active. His team's very very far behind, and this is only sort of 9 minutes in the game. They can't give Tree any more any more in this game. Otherwise they're going to just take control in the game. They should try and kill Electrician again though, because Boxy as usual does play very very aggressive when he has a good start. Like they can easily kill him if as long as Dark Lady, Empath, and Lord Sourfurish can join and play correctly to secure the kill. They're not really going to be able to kill Flux unless they have maybe 3 or 4 heroes rotate over. So I think that the best target is going to be Electrician in the top lane.
Yeah. You see here, I mean, he's level 8 though. He's got the bottle, power supply, steam boots. He's so tanky already. It's it's not easy. Hell, he's 1,100 plus life with the steam boots to strength, and that's on top, of course, the electric shield that he's getting. Or he's constantly activating. Now you do see up here, Magnus and Glacius, man, they can just continue to be very active here. as you definitely would expect, and that's to the credit of Willowkeeper. They're playing this fantastic here. And actually, Darkblade, there we go. Static Grip comes out, nothing they can do to stop it. They are coming in with the flank, as Lord Self-Force will follow. Eruption easily kills Darkblade, but at what cost right here? Lord Self-Force, he's trying to make something happen, but realizing Electrician again, as we expected, way too tanky. Kinesis coming in now. He has effect right here, actually. Flux pulls him in, though, and this is going to be a cleanup, it looks like, for Willowkeeper, as Dr. Repulsor follows it up. A genocide. A 5-for-0 exchange even in favor of Willowkeeper. What the hell just happened, man?
Yeah,
Holy
I mean,
crap.
initially, like, there was no lane ward coming out from Nullstone Gaming, so they didn't see the rotation come out from Glacius and Magnus. And once they got the initiation on Dark Lady, they instantly took her out of the fight. So from there, it went on as 4v5. Obviously, Tree were already ahead before this team fight happened, so they were most likely going to be taking the team fight, even if it was equal in terms of 5-on-5 engagement. Then I think Empath and Lord Southwest rotated over into sort of the 4 heroes from Tree, and then obviously Krake got involved, and it just was a disaster here for Nullstone Gaming. I mean, they shouldn't really be trying to take team fights because, you know, Dark Lady isn't a really hero that can get involved in team fights until she picks up that Rune Cleaver and Shrunken Head, but she's only 220 GPM. She's already lost the tier 1 tower breaking. I mean, it's really looking bad here.
And, you know, I don't want to take anything away from Willowkeeper. Absolutely not. I mean, they are playing on the ball here, and you can tell that they're out for blood. They're ready to get another rematch against Sync and try to make something happen in the grand finals. And got to get through Nullstone to do so, but I mean, Nullstone just is not looking like they're on the ball here. There's several things that just are not clicking, and it just continues to add up. It's now 10-2 hero kill. It's going to be more here, as Empath is definitely going to get picked off. Nothing Lord Self-Force can do to ultimately stop that. As you see right there, he just purges, and he's going to be running away. So I don't know if I'm sure they can't even concede it technically. Have 3 more minutes till that point, but unless something changes here in these next 3 minutes, I would not be surprised.
They like I said before, like, they gave so much away to Boxy. Like, he was like 280 GPM, and once you've got, like, you know, all 3 lanes farming at sort of nearly 300 GPM, then the game's almost already over, because what that allows is that, you know, they can easily rotate and start ganking the top lane. If Electrician's level 1, level 2 at, you know, 3, 4, 5 minutes, then the Glacier and Magnus could not rotate over. But seeing as Electrician was so damn farmed, then they can easily rotate over and secure some kills. And Dark Lady is, you know, the strongest of team fighters early on either. So yeah, Breaky, it all just fell apart in the top lane.
Yeah. This tower middle, it's going to end up falling. Will it be denied is the question. Now, Portal Key just delivered to Magnus, or he bought it, I guess. He's actually pointing to the middle lane. This could be ugly for Nullstone once again. they do not know that he has a Portal Key right now. You know, maybe they could expect with the start that they've had, but they don't know for certain, and if they get caught out in a team fight, this could just get warped. Okay, nice job. Well played by Fuzzy Slot. They're going to get pulled in by the discharge there from Flux, and Dr. Pulse are going to follow it now. Empath for sure. She's going to be food again. Only level 4. Not much she can do there. Gets taken out. Electrician in the background. He's kind of holding them in place. And now here we go. Magnus stuns in with a Portal Key. Doctor with a fall. The dive is real from Willowkeeper, and this working beautifully. A hat trick coming out for Krake. And now 13.5 minutes in, the lead just excels. This is going to be a 15-minute concede, man.
I'm surprised they even try to defend that tier 1 tower. Like, they do not have the resources to try and defend. Like, they're around like 6,000-7,000 gold behind when they try and defend the tier 1 tower. They don't have the greatest of team fight either, because, you know, they've picked up the Dark Lady, and they try and defend a tier 1 tower against a Tree team that are just all about the early mid-game aggression. Like, if you think about the draft here from Tree, they've got nothing in terms of really late-game potential outside of the Dr. Repulsor, and, you know, when they're going against a Dark Lady, they do not have this lane. So, you know, in terms of the strategy, Tree have been playing it perfectly, but at the same time, Nullstone Gaming have sort of just been playing into the hand of Tree. So, a little bit of awkwardness in that respect.
Papoxy set the tone this game, no doubt, with that suicide control
it's true.
of his. And just the lineup, the greedy lineup in a sense that Nullstone went with, being a little more farm heavy earlier on, is obviously backfired because of that mainly. So, you know, there's only so much analysis you can do, and I know a lot of people are going to look at the fact, let's be honest, there's going to be the easy scapegoat here. It's like, oh, well, the Ringer 12-footer carry, you know, he failed. But, hey, it's not easy to ask a player that doesn't play on the competitive scene. And you see Beaver Bing right there. But that doesn't play, but to just come in and play against one of the top teams in the world, expect him to do well.
That's obviously one thing, but I mean, I think Mbav had a few misplays, honestly, from what I was watching the top lane. But there was a couple of features that really all did sort of sort of conjoined to make this happen. First of all, they blocked out all of Lord South Forest jungle, so he really wasn't an impact in the game. Like, normally he can farm around 300 GPM. We've seen it before. Like, he farms nearly as fast as a Tempest. Like, if you have that kind of GPM as a jungler, then obviously you can have an impact in the game. But he was, sort of shut out from the early start. Then obviously the Invis rune rotated on to kill him like early on as well. Then they couldn't unblock the neutral camp, so Empath wasn't too much involved, and then obviously Electrician pulled the early creep wave as well, so not only reducing Dark Lady's impact but also boosting himself up as well. So there was a variable amount of factors that obviously led to this moment in time in the game, but yeah, obviously Empath being a ringer is also one of those.
Hey, I gotta call out Beaverbinger here. I'm not a huge fan of him saying that right there, because I know why he said that, but that's just flat out saying that, the ringer that you have, they're using him as a scapegoat. And again, sure, even if that's the case, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, you shouldn't be calling out your teammates, right, basically making a point that, like, oh, well, that's the reason why we're losing. And, I mean, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Beaverbinger.
I agree.
Making that comment right there, but ultimately looking into it too, that's them basically saying they're gonna play out this game just simply hoping that Cholo Symbion will obviously be able to return here, and because again, apparently he's just MIA. They're not exactly sure what the deal is even. So, but yeah, so it's gonna be kind of an overtime here. Obviously, Willowkeeper though, but they're just gonna keep the pressure on and push you in the bottom lane.
I mean, at the same time though, like, this is kind of the draft and the sort of strategy of the tree. Like, if they weren't this far ahead, then there would be a couple of questions raised, because maybe not to the extent of this kind of lead, but even if they weren't like 5, 6, 7,000 gold ahead, then they would almost be losing, because obviously they're going against the Dark Lady. They have this early game aggression. If they weren't this far ahead, then they wouldn't be playing the strategy correct. So obviously it does go back to obviously Tree playing very, very well at the same time.
Yeah, Willowkeeper is definitely on the ball. Hey, if Willowkeeper plays like this, to be fair, too, I mean, they get a rematch against Sync Esports, and that'd be a very intriguing series, definitely better than yesterday's was, and what was the winter bracket final. So that's, if anything, to look forward to. But, at the very least, kind of, definitely playing this one out, of course, and, hoping that in the end, Cholo Symbion does eventually appear, and, given the better chance, definitely, to Nullstone as far as moving forward, perhaps, but...
I mean, to be fair, Dred's played pretty decent in the mid lane, actually. Like, I was watching him as well. Like, he was going at least toe-to-toe with Cracker, and Cracker, honestly, one of the strongest 1v1 heroes, like, in comparison to, like, even Mickey, perhaps, as well. So,
yeah, he loves that Flux, too.
Yeah, holding his own. So, and honestly, Flux is probably a little bit stronger than Kraken in terms of 1v1 matchup because of that ranged factor. But
yeah. Oh, there we go, the initiation Flux. They're going for a wombo combo. It's not the prettiest, but it's going to be more than enough because of just how far ahead they are right here. Again, we're really in that overtime state. Nullstone knows 100% that they have no chance here, but they are just kind of delaying the inevitable, and they're going to try to maybe even let it finish the old-fashioned way, simply just buying time, if anything. So, and I get that. I'm not against that necessarily. I mean, they can do that technically, but it's just kind of unfortunate as a spectator, because here we are. We're just kind of seeing a complete stop that will just continue because of that, unfortunately. So, we come into a final day of a cycle, especially, and the last thing you want is unfortunately this. But hey, it does happen, and ultimately it's no one's fault really. It's just a matter of hopefully, I guess if anything should be saying that hopefully everything is just frankly okay with Cholo Symbion, and nothing bad happened in that sense. But all right, gonna pause the game now. That's maybe a little ridiculous if that's the case, but we'll see where this goes here.
They've got some lag break here. Needs to fix those lags.
A little lag spike's kicking in now. Gonna pause here for 10 minutes. Try to get the lag fixed. But yeah, again, Sync obviously again they're waiting in the grand finals, guys. They're gonna be playing the winner of this series, and unless several things change, right now Tree's in a very good spot again. This is technically just game number 1. With that said, and they. So we'll see how things advance on forward, but who knows? Who knows? One thing to note too, it is I brought this up yesterday, but obviously after the cycle, there will be a couple weekends break. Usually it's just the 1 weekend due to just in between the cycles and whatnot, but it will be a couple weekend break. As a result of holidays coming up, so there'll be a 2-weekend break, and then I believe Cycle 6. There's actually a full schedule on TaunTour.com that you can check out for yourself as well. If you go to the events tab, let's see, you go to events, and then I believe it's just like Han Tour calendar, as it's going a little slowly for me, but yeah, view the full calendar. Anyways, it has a full calendar there, so you can actually check out like the full schedule and everything. So yeah, December 6th is when we're going to be returning for what will be Cycle 6, and then there will be another break after that, once again, of course, for the holidays, and then it'll all resume with Cycle 7 come, it looks like January 10th even, so, you know, we're kind of in that state here. Here we are, you know, going to be wrapping up Cycle 5, of course, today, and 3 more cycles remaining. It's going to take a couple months to ultimately play those ones out, but, you know, we are...
What about podcasts? Sorry.
Yeah, I would be, yeah, definitely podcasts popping up here and there, I'm sure.
Well, we would do it like next week. We wouldn't do it like, or would you do it like next week, or would you like,
probably? Well, I'll have to see.
Out.
Yeah, probably next week, but we'll see. We'll see what the deal is. Yeah, I'll let you guys know 100% what the deal is there. So now I'm not saying we're not going to have anything on Honcast out all the time, of course, but you know, as far as Han Tour goes, that's what the schedule is looking like for that. But I know that there are, you know, plans for some other events to pop up here and there, and definitely wouldn't be surprised to have some coverage as a result of that. So keep an eye and see what the details are in that, and maybe expect a couple of changes coming in the near future. We'll see. So the game itself, I'm not saying anything specific, but, you know, we'll see.
Oh, yes, please. Just nerf Rhapsody.
Some fun things ahead. Yeah, just remove Rhapsody from the game for one. Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm really looking forward to that balance patch, though, because, I mean, obviously, I'm on SPT, and some of the changes, obviously, I'm not going to leak anything, but they do look some really, really nice changes, though. Hopefully, a nice fresher in the competitive scene as well. More heroes, which I'll be for. Oh, and that dust as well, man. Oh, the smoke ganks.
Speaking of, yeah, I'm actually really, that's actually kind of an interesting point to bring up, too, about, you're talking about, what is that even called? It's the mushroom, the wild rot, as it's called.
The mushroom.
I mean, it basically is a mushroom, so.
Sure.
But that is going to be, and I'm not 100% sure, but I would think that's going to be implemented here in the near future, if not going in the next cycle or so. Or, again, don't quote me on that. I don't know exactly sure, but it's going to be implemented before the season's over, I'm pretty sure. And that's going to be fun to see if teams actually take advantage of that item or not, because...
I wish I was still playing, man. Like, I've been doing all these theory crafting for like all these potential strats and things you can use, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I don't even play. So it's like, oh, right, kind of wasted.
Yeah.
Oh well. Give it to another team, and they become the new champions.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously we're resuming on here. So again, the overtime continues in a sense. Again, clear victory for Willow Keeper, but Nullstone doing what they can to play it out. And so really, it's going to be on Willow Keeper to an extent. I mean, it's fair though. They don't want to necessarily just run into Nullstone and, you know, throw themselves out.
Throw the game.
Yeah, throw the game ultimately. That would be silly. Again, we can go back to, you know, good money on the line, and obviously a very good spot, especially but already a Frosto Skull and Flux. Jeez Louise. Yeah, no portal key needed, and you get the Frosto Skull first item at this point. So, but yeah, you know, big balance patches are always fun. Now, Waz has already hinted at, you know, even a couple of changes, and to see what kind of shift ultimately happens. And so, I mean, it's definitely going to be happening before the season's over. I think that's a safe assumption, of course. You know, we've talked about that in the past. You know, if you wait a whole season to implement one, things may get dry a little bit. But there will be a big balance patch that comes in, and you know, Waz has hinted at that's going to be a somewhat more support heavy to an extent. And I know both you and I definitely roles players of the support, so excited to see what comes with that. He also even talked about the Monarch changes a little bit and the little worms
really fun,
that are going to happen. Yeah. Be movable towards the side.
That one in particular, I think, is going to be a very heavily contested support, actually.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, what they've done with it is very, very strong.
There's going to be some good stuff here coming up. And yeah, that's always, and I'm not, that's the thing, though. It's like, I think you could argue, or you really, really could, that as far as diversity, as far as just, you know, fun, it's been it's one of its highest levels it's ever been, honestly, as far as competitive Han goes. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt in that. Anyone that says differently, all I have to say is, well, Complexity versus TDM.
Dark Lady versus Magebane.
Dark Lady versus Magebane. Keeper versus Tempest. I mean, things like that.
No.
Yeah, so I think it's safe to say our try lane versus try lane. Not even in the same lane, though. Try versus try, but just the farm game, a.k.a. Old Wild Souls. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's safe to say we were actually in a pretty good spot right now when it comes to hero diversity is in the low. Oh, well, what does that even really mean, though? Like,
he's probably making stuff up as usual.
Yeah, he's like, I know, I just use big fancy words. It means something. Hero diversity is currently in the low 40%. I mean, is that good? Like, I don't even know what that's really based off, though.
I don't know.
It's like, it's perfect distribution. Oh, okay, that's fair. I mean, still, that's a little. Yeah, okay. Well, I think, well, what is our number at as far as heroes that we actually have seen played? It's something like, it's in the 90s, isn't it? At this point? Or maybe like the 80s? Yeah, by the way, the game's 102, really? Wow.
What heroes haven't been
Well, there's like over 120 heroes. So what? There's like 20 heroes that haven't been played or something like that.
It's not 120, is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, this game is
it?
growing, man. I know.
It's 115 or 110.
No. Oh, I'm not a. Well, let's see.
I'm going to count them.
Well, no, you don't have to count them here. You just go to the hero usage list. Let's see. We're at 125, so I was even wrong.
See, 120. That's what I was saying.
125.
Okay, we're equal. We're equal.
No, we're not equal. I'm right. I'm more right.
I'm more right.
Anyways, yeah, so obviously the game ended right there. And as expected, Willowkeeper easily ultimately rolls through. So yeah, I mean, that puts us obviously in an interesting spot. So we're going to have to see what's going on here. Clearly, Nullstone, that game just didn't work out, and I'm sure demoralized even to an extent. But we'll see what the deal is, whether or not they're going to simply wait or where we're going from here. But we are going to take a short break, guys. And we'll let you know, keep you guys updated as far as what our status is concerned. So, at the very least, eventually we will have the grand finals, of course. It's set for 3 p.m. Eastern, 2100 Central European Time. And I wouldn't expect that to change no matter what happens, to be honest. So let's just plan for that, if anything. But again, hopefully we'll still have something here. And we'll get you guys updated as far as what the deal is. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Well, I'll let you guys know what's going on here. And we'll go from there. Hopefully we got another match, a good one at least, going to be coming up at you. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be back.